And guys, I couldn't help myself. It's your girl Shamar. I am back and I have a bonus. Yes, I do. Guys, I could not help myself. I had released this a little while ago on the community page, but I'm not mad at revisiting this subject at all. Cause look at this, guys. A while ago, somebody said to me, "How do you know if you're Judah or not?" Well, I got an answer. All right, guys. I have an answer. You see this lady right here? The last known survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre, right? Challenged the Omaha High Court decisions, right? You see this picture of this lady. What's her name? Miss Leslie Benningfield Randall, a Tulsa Race Massacre survivor, is pictured during the House Government Committee meeting at the Oklahoma Capitol. This is on October 5th, guys, 2023. Attorneys for Randall and Viola Ford Fletcher, the last two remaining survivors of the massacre, asked the Oklahoma Supreme Court Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024, to reconsider the case they dismissed last month and called on the Biden administration to help the two women seek justice. All right, so you see the faces of these ladies, right? This lady right here, I don't want to start jonesing on nobody grandma, but I, I can't help itself. The picture is giving me all I need. This lady looked like, I titled this article, Grandmas of the Southern Beast, guys. Because, see, these ladies right here, they are not protectors of Mama's pipeline. All right, guys, these ladies right here are from the descendants that want to exploit the pipeline to gain riches. And they want they cut. You better believe these grandmas want they cut. The grandmas of Judah or Reuben or Simeon or Levi or Benjamin. All right. I'm starting to be able to link Naphtali to the southern beast. Okay, guys? These are the southern grannies. Okay? They want their cut. Attorneys for the last two remaining survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre asked the Oklahoma Supreme Court on Tuesday to reconsider the case they dismissed last month. Now, why would they want to reconsider anyway? Viola Fletcher, 110, and Leslie Benningfield Randall are the last known survivors of one of the single worst acts of violence against so-called black people in U.S. history. As many as 300 black people were killed. More than 1,200 homes, businesses, schools, and churches were destroyed, and thousands were forced to enter intermittent camps. All right? Overseen by the National Guard when a white, what is it? A mob, including some deputized by authorities, looted and burned the Greenwood district, also known as Black Wall Street. All right, guys? And when did they say this was? 1921, right? I have pointed out to you guys that this was not just no race massacre, guys, right? These grandmas know what time it is because look in the back, guys. In the background, what do we got? We got postcards for Tulsa. This is the gold digger statue, guys. It's a statue of a man. Tulsa, oil capital of the world. Uh, it sounds boastful, doesn't it? Well, over a century ago, when the title was first touted, it certainly was. When the appellation was declared by Tulsa, it was a boom town in Indian Territory. You heard what it said? Where was this at? In Indian Territory. So you think they took territory from Indians to give it to some black people? Territory that was rich in oil. No, you yourself don't believe that. It was who it was with the entire time. Honestly, this was under the possession of Joseph, guys. Joseph's family was not exploiting this pipeline. We knew that we were the guardians of the pipeline, guys. We knew that this gas, that this black gold had to stay in the ground. That's why we're going to treat that gold as an unclean thing in the future, guys, because we're going to recognize to pull that gold out of the ground is to harm the environment. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'll save that actually. But at some point, I'm going to share an observation that I made with you guys about what I feel like pulling this oil out of the ground reminds me of. Let's keep going. It was a boom town in the Indian Territory, fast growing into a city with an entrepreneurial excitement fueled by some massive oil fields nearby, and the title was up for grabs. The oil capital label was proclaimed in the mid-1800s by Titusville, PA, thanks to Edwin Drake's oil find. Soon nearby Pittsburgh laid claim to the title with its refineries and financial horsepower. As oil production progressed west to Ohio and the Great Lake populations grew, Cleveland, powered by John Rockefeller's Standard Oil, proclaimed itself the oil capital, with a touted 88 refineries, pumping out product shipped via Lake Erie. But Cleveland, oil capital? Really? Besides, the Standard Oil Trust was about to get busted. Then in 1897, Nellie Johnstone well blew in near Bartlesville, about 40 miles north of Tulsa. The nearby Red Fork was discovered in 1901. And 4 years later came the Glen Pool gusher that opened a giant new field just to the south. Newspaper images of Oklahoma oil geysers were published over the world. Tulsa was in the center of the new oil-producing universe. The Oil and Gas Journal was published in Tulsa in 1902. Where else? It was where the news was. Trying to extend this article, but for whatever reason, it just won't for me. But long story short, what they not trying to tell you is Tulsa was at the center of the oil-producing universe. It was all about Tulsa. All right, guys? And what Tulsa had underground, that's what these ladies trying to get a hold of. They know what time it is. Look at this picture, guys. I want y'all to see something. How this man here, he is the Baron of Black Wall Street. Okay, this guy named O.W. Gurley built an empire of African-American businesses in Tulsa, though it all came burning down in the massacre of 1921. Generations of entrepreneurs rose from the ashes. Okay, so at 1921, this place was definitely producing oil. Okay? Ottawa W. Gurley knew he would never be a success in the Jim Crow South. His name was Ottawa. Born on Christmas Day to freed slaves in Huntsville, Alabama, he grew up in Pine Bluff. They was never slaves at this point. This is the Southern tribes who just let the back door open so that they could exploit the pipeline. This is the gold they came in seeking, guys. Where's the picture of this man? Look at, guys, go back and read this article for yourself. It's a very long article that glorifies him, but it also gives you the backdrop, right? For some of these folks, some of these people from the southern tribes, the southern beast, I, of either Benjamin, Levi, Judah, can't leave Judah out, right, guys? Reuben or Simeon. But look at this guy's face. Don't this one look like this mama right here? He looked just like this lady right here, guys. He looked kind of more like this lady. Let me go back to that picture and see what's going on here. Where did he go to? Anyway, this is who they're referring to as the Baron. The Baron of Black Wall Street. All right, but they just told you a minute ago that it was in Indian territory, right? But somehow it went to the black folk. Come on, man. It is not adding up. Wealthy and wise J.B. Stratford was one of the architects of Black Wall Street. Today, his great-grandson is among America's premier money managers. Judah, the scepter shall not depart. Right, guys? Judah getting that money as a money manager. Did I not tell you that the Choctaw tribe has a credit rating higher than Wells Fargo? Judah. About he was born from emancipated. Guys, this is nothing but some grandmas of the southern beast. Check them out. Watch this, y'all. That's the Baron of Wall Street, and these are the grannies. But look at this choice of words. Black gold. So when Shamar tell y'all that this is the gold they came in, you can be certain that this is the gold they came in here for. Black gold gushes in Oklahoma City. Throughout the 20th century, oil was undoubtedly the driving economic force in Oklahoma. Personal fortunes were won and lost, and cities boomed and busted as black gold flowed from below Oklahoma's surface, which Okla is a Hebrew word, guys. Today, the great strides have been made in Oklahoma meets the red people, have been made to diversify our economy, but oil still remains an important part of our economic base. Okay? It's all about the oil. Oil was so plentiful in Indian and later Oklahoma territories that one didn't even need to drill for it. It often bubbled up from below and collected in pools on the surface. In those early days, the biggest problem was not how to find oil, but what to do with it. Gasoline-powered engines would not be plentiful until after 1900s, and most factories and homes in the East were powered and heated by coal. About all a poor farmer could do was use the oil for axle grease and hope to sell the rest to others for the same purpose. This is what the husbandmen were using the grease for. All right? Native Americans found medicinal uses for the oil, okay? It says they discovered, C.B. Glasscock recounted a story that as early as 1853, a government Indian agent, what is this government Indian agent? Interesting words. Reported to Washington that oil springs in the Wichita Mountains. He reported to Washington, huh? Judah. This is this government agent. It's Judah, or one of these southern beast tribes, were thought to have restorative powers. That a number of travelers from Texas in Arkansas came to the area to ease their suffering from rheumatitis and other ailments. They were lying to these people. They wanted these people to try to cure their disorders, huh? Where did they get these disorders from? I mean, I believe personally we may have been using them for medicinal powers, but to show them where this was to exploit it. If you ask me, it was never for them to use it for medicinal powers. I highly doubt it. All right, the medicine shows sold all over the Twin Territories as an Indian cure-all. That government report was issued 6 years before Edwin L. Drake drilled the world's first commercial oil well in Pennsylvania in 1859. Drake had the same problems others had. There was no market for oil. Over the next 40 years, refined oil became more valuable as a lubricant and a lamp fuel. What did I tell you guys? The Assyrians were lighting their lamps with the oil. By the 1890s, exploration was common in the Indian Territory, spurred by an increase in oil prices and the development of engines that ran on gasoline. Guys, the word gas and the word chaos are one and the same. In 1897, the Indian Territory illuminating the Indian Territory Illuminating Oil Company, owned by Frank Phillips and H.V. Foster, struck oil near Bartlesville on land owned by William Johnstone. The well named number 1 Nellie Johnstone is widely regarded as the first commercial oil well in Oklahoma, guys. Abraham's wells. What did I tell y'all? There were producing wells before, but none that produced as well as Nellie Johnstone. The next 2 decades saw an incredible growth in the petroleum industry. The single greatest development was the introduction of the automobile, which sent prices skyrocketing and created a flurry of economic activity all over the country. The automobile taught you how to be lazy, right, tillers? Yeah, you don't want to. I told you, but I keep telling y'all, Adam loves Wall Street. Adam loves anything that's going to allow Adam to be lazy, but exploit the earth and create devastation. All so we can have automobiles, right? Yeah. That's exactly what it was for. All right. It says Oklahoma was no exception. In 1905, the Glen Pool was discovered south of Tulsa. In a few months, would become the largest oil field in the world at the time. Tulsa became the oil capital of the world overnight, as it emerged as the center of the financial and commercial activities surrounding oil production. In 1912, the Cushing Drumright Field came. Then Heddleton in 1913. And in 1920, the Burbank Field came, all right, on Osage lands and made Osage tribe members millionaires many times over. The Seminole Field was discovered in 1926. All right, this is the southern beast, right, exploiting mama. The Seminole Field was discovered in 1926. Geologists soon realized that Oklahoma was sitting atop what appeared to be the biggest, deepest oil deposit ever. It would later be called the Mid-Continent Field and spread from North Texas to southern Kansas. We often hear the term black gold. All right, what did Shamar tell y'all? Applied to the amazing wealth generated by an oil discovery. But the reference to the gold is also appropriate because these oil fields which sprang up are strikingly similar to the gold rush towns in the Mountain West. Once a well was brought forth, wildcatters, all right? Wildcatters, independent, not drilling for a particular company. That's what the Wildcats, Arizona Wildcats, that's a nickname for here, would sweep in from around the country, obtain a lease, and start drilling in the same area, but not clean up their mess, right, guys? There was no law or regulation to prevent this. Soon, the surrounding countryside resembled a forest of derricks, often as far as the eye could see. Oil-field workers and their families would live in makeshift shacks and go about without running water, schools, or other basics. Off-gridders, huh? The work was also very dangerous. Death, the loss of fingers or hands was common, and the families were often left with a considerable hardship. These were the people getting filthy dirty, not filthy rich. The field often became environmental disasters as gushers spewed oil over the countryside or collected in pools around the drilling site. Anyone looking at a map of these great oil fields in Oklahoma could see that there was a big hole in the middle which had no drilling activity. It stood to reason that the area would need to be explored as well. That area, of course, was Oklahoma City. As the state capital, Oklahoma City had profited from all the other oil fields through taxes, financing, and distribution, but it didn't experience anything like the overnight growth of Tulsa or Bottlesville. It had already done that in 1889. It wasn't for want of trying. Geologists and wildcatters had done test wells several times for over 20 years and always came up dry. While other parts of the state had grown and become wealthy on oil, by the late 1920s, Oklahoma City had become a medium-sized capital city with a diversified economy. Things changed very quickly on December 4th when the Indian Territory Illuminating Oil Company worked with the Foster Petroleum, found oil at 6,402 feet. The well was called Number One Oklahoma City and was located in a field near what is today Southeast 59th and Bryant, about 4 miles from downtown. In the first month alone, it brought in 110,000 barrels of oil. People celebrated all over town. Many joked that Santa Claus came early that year. Yeah. So in 1928, they expanded the operation. Says that the properties jumped in value from 25% to 50%. It was all about the oil. All right. The boom was on despite efforts by city and county leaders to control it. Wells were sunk on city land at Trosper Park and other spots southeast of the city. By the end of 1929, there were 53 wells in the area. By March 1930, there were 135 wells in the area completed and 173 more drilling. On March 26th, things changed. Early that morning, the Mary Sadiq well blew in and ran wild. It took 12 days to bring her under control after blowing about 10,000 barrels of oil and 25 million cubic feet of gas into the air every day. Residents remember a fine, greasy mist falling on the campus of Oklahoma University. Other wells went wild as well. The Morgan Petroleum Number One Stout well, located on East Reno, sprayed oil all over the city. It even caused an oil slick on the river which caught fire near Hara. So guys, this is a really good article for y'all to read if you think Shamar is making this mess up when Shamar tell you that Abraham was in possession of oil fields. When Shamar tells you that this land has been depleted. If the Creator created everything and it was perfect, how did we wind up with a desert? And this ain't the first desert area, guys. The Sonora Desert is just like the desert over there in the Africa region. What do we call that desert? I can't think of the name right now. But guys, a desert is not perfect. A desert is the opposite of perfect. So if we have a desert here because they have over-resourced the area here, this has happened before. Man can't get out of man's way. Man has exploited the resources in the Sahara Desert. There we go. That's the desert over in the Africa continent region, the Sahara Desert. You have the Sonora Desert, which I'm in, which is here in Arizona with the wildcatters. Right, guys? And you have the Sahara Desert. These lands have been exploited. That's how come we have a desert now. And these raggedy grandmas right here, yeah, I'm going to call them raggedy because they are descendants of the robbers. These raggedy grandmas right here want they cut. Right, guys? Yes, they do. These are the survivors of the Tulsa Black Gold Massacre. Remember where you heard it? You heard it on the front line. You heard it from your mama. Let mother guide you. Much love to you guys. These are the grandmas of the beast of the South. I hope y'all like that bonus. I'll see y'all next week.